Today we start one of the first big projects here on the farm for building our house. We're going to be installing underground utilities from the road behind me all the way up the hill here, about 650 feet to our house site. To my left we have our transformer pad, so we'll run primary electric from the bottom of the hill to this pad here, and then about 70 feet into the house. So while Walker stakes out part of the house, we have our transformer pad marked out here. We're about 656 feet from the road, so we have to go all the way down this driveway, just follow alongside of it, jet the cat here to help out, and then we'll go secondary line about 60 to 70 feet into the house. So the hard part is getting our primary electricity from the road up to our transformer here. So we're going to start down at the telephone pole and work our way up. All right, well, we are down here at the start of our utility line. So this is the pole that is currently on our property, and we will be going underground from here all the way up the driveway to that pad mount transformer location we just went through.
Guys, they have the tube.
So let's get started.
Yeah, look at the tube like that.
Very nice tube.
Dad, let's wash this. Bucket wash. Dad, let's wash this tube.
All right, well, we have our digging bucket on the excavator. We have to fit a 3-inch Schedule 40 conduit in here, 3 feet deep. So let's get digging. Yeah. Sure am. Here we go. Find all kinds of stuff. Okay, well, my dad just got here, so he started laying some of the pipe out. And of course, I happened to throw a track as soon as he got here, so let's see if we can get this replaced here. Hey, chickens. Yeah, I think I got a snack for them. Bolt and a little zerk fitting there that puts the grease in. So this is the tension pulley here. That's it. Oh boy. Yeah, all the grease comes out. You got it. Cool. There it goes. Okay. It's a lot of grease. All right, back to it. Okay, well guys, we pretty much dug until it was too dark to see, even with the light on the excavator. So I'm just going to try to get a few of these pieces of pipe glued up before I go to bed tonight, and we'll try to finish this up tomorrow. Okay, so we're back here the next day, and we made some pretty good progress yesterday. I think we ended up digging about 100 foot an hour or so, and that was with a few issues, of course, and some rocky ground closer to the pole. But my dad's here now. He's getting some seat time in the excavator, so I'm going to get the rest of these pipes glued up. I got most of them glued up last night, but we are continuing on. I also today picked up some 2-inch conduit for our fiber internet line, so that'll be going off of the same pole, which is right down here, and basically the same route. The fiber needs to be 1 foot away from our primary electric line, so I'll just put them in the same trench. That's totally fine. And of course we will need some select fill down by the telephone pole where it was a little bit rockier, so they want more of a softer fill for that rather than having it backfilled with rocks. So we're going to keep digging here and get these glue joints put together, and then hopefully we'll be pretty much wrapping up this trench today. So I noticed this last night with these joints. It worked better if you actually put a little bit of glue on both sides of the pipe. So just take it, try to clean out much dirt as I can that might have just been in there from us throwing it down on the ground. Try to mostly line it up concentrically. And then also I noticed that the dabber of the glue is just the same length as the bell. So if I start and actually glue the full length of the dabber here, and then one little bit in here just to almost act like some lubrication, they fly together very easily. So just going to do that the rest of the way up. All right, well, the trench is done. So we just finished up. I'm not sure exactly how far we ended up digging, but we'll measure that here at the end. It took 8 hours on the machine to actually dig this roughly 650 feet. So hit a little bit of sandstone towards the top, broke up easily, but it was just something you had to keep messing with and peel off in layers. Other than that, really only just good dirt and some clay for the most part. So we're gonna get the rest of these glued up, and then we'll throw this first 3-inch conduit in the hole, and then we'll work on getting our fiber 2-inch conduit in the hole. Ready? Watch yourself up there. Okay. Okay, well, we have Ty down here backfilling about 6 to 8 inches on top of our 3-inch conduit. So we were able to put the 3-inch conduit in all the way up, and I hugged it to the left side of the trench here. So it's a 2-foot wide trench. We're gonna have the main primary on this downhill side of the trench the whole way, and then I'm backfilling it with about 6 to 8 inches of dirt and select fill, like some of the better dirt we have. And then we're going to be putting the 2-inch fiber conduit on the opposite side of the trench because it needs a 1-foot clearance. So 1 foot wide and then up about 6 to 8 inches. Plenty of clearance there. So just going to get these 2-inch glued up and installed while Ty starts doing that backfilling down there. All right, guys. Well, another late night. Of course, it's winter, so it's only 7 o'clock and it's already pitch black, but pretty much got the 2-inch pipe in all the way to the top here. So like I said, we're just hugging that opposite side of the trench. Our power line primary is on the left side here, about 6 inches down, and basically just hugged the other side of the trench with that 2-inch line all the way up. So next thing we'll do whenever we get some more daylight, we will backfill most of the way here, and about a foot from the top we'll have two sets of caution tape for the the red danger electrical tape. But that'll be a job for when we can see again, so we'll catch up with you then. Well, it's even later now, and the more I thought about it, the more I thought I shouldn't have this trench here for the next 2 days, and we were expecting rain the next 2 days, so I went ahead and did like a 80% backfill here, pretty much all the way up. I know it's really hard to see going off the flashlight, but did like a 80% backfill the whole way up. And that gives me just a little bit more. I'll probably compact it down a little bit and then give me just enough room to put my tape in at 12 inches below grade. Looks like the Blair Witch Project or something like that. And then here's my two ends for now. So I have my 3-inch on the right and my 2-inch on the left, and those eventually will go another 20 feet or so to this pole, but like I said, they are replacing that one, so I can't get too close yet. But as for now, I have everything pretty much backfilled all the way up the hill. So the next step after it rains for the next 2 days will be to get our tape in, get this compacted down a little bit, and then get it back to grade. Okay guys, well it is day 3 now, and now that we have some more sunlight, you can see I have about 80% of the trench behind me completed at this point. So our next step is going to be putting our warning tape in. I already put the 3-foot grade bucket on the excavator so we can get this cleaned up a little better. We'll get this compacted down and should start looking a little bit better today. So now that most of this is actually filled in, I'm just going to come back here and kind of pack it in a little bit with the bucket, make it a little bit more even, and then we'll throw our tape in on top and then finish burying this, do more of a final grade. All right, so it's getting a little bit warmer now, so things are starting to thaw out, so definitely muddy, but I was able to get the trench mostly compacted down and smooth across the top. So now I'm going to throw in some of this electrical caution tape. We'll put two pieces in since we have 2 lines in here. I don't know if you necessarily need 2, but I'm going to put 2 in here just because we have both lines. And we'll take this all the way up to the top of the hill. Well, our tape is laid out. I threw a little bit of dirt on it already just to kind of hold it in place. This is our run that crosses the driveway here that'll go to the transformer. On my right, we have our fiber line that will be going up the opposite side of the driveway because it will be going straight into the house. So the next step, I'm just going to backfill this and try to tidy everything up. I know it's going to settle a good bit this winter after a few freeze-thaw cycles, so any excess I have, I'll have to just mound up over top of the trench here. Well guys, we had another late night last night and pretty much just dug until dark, and I wasn't able to see even with the lights on the excavator anymore, but I was able to get all of this backfilled. So you can see now our trench is completely filled in all the way up the hill. The only place we have left to fill is maybe like the last 6 feet or so here, where I need to wait for the power company to obviously put the pole on the, move that pole, replace the pole. So we're gonna leave this somewhat open, might backfill a little bit more a little bit later. But for now, we need to go back to the very top of the hill. And the last two things we have to do with the excavator for now are work on the transformer pad itself and finish the run for the fiber conduit. So we'll get that trench dug, we'll work on the transformer pad, and then we'll be ready to pull our wire through. All right, so we are back here at the top of the hill, and I have my main 3-inch power line going here on the left of the trench, so that will go over to the transformer. But we also have the 2-inch fiber conduit here. So this line will actually go straight to the house whenever we establish where the foundation is exactly going. So it will follow a different trench here onto the right of the driveway. So I have my 2-inch line here and some tape left over. I'm basically just going to continue this trench straight up along the driveway here, and then we'll just leave a little hole here and finish off this trench whenever we establish where the house is going. As for my main power transformer here, I have my 3-inch line ending right here in the trench, so we have to prepare the transformer pad. My local service company provides a service install guide for these types of pads, and in my case, I'm looking at Exhibit 29 here. So we have a 15-inch deep pad. It'll be 5 by 5, and we'll coat the bottom with sand. All right, so that pretty much finishes up our fiber trench and our power trench from the pole all the way to this point here. So now that we're at the end of our primary line, we need to put a transformer pad here. Based on the blueprints from the utility company, I'm going to be installing a 15-inch deep pad. So we need to dig 18 inches deep, where the box will be 3 inches above final grade, and we will need 6 inches of sand or pea gravel. So we'll probably do sand for that. And this will be a 5 by 5 area to dig out for the transformer pad. It's also important to note that the front of the box has to be facing the driveway. So based on the schematic also, if the front is facing the driveway, the conduit for the primary needs to come up on the left, and then the secondary that'll go to the house will come up on the right side. So we have to keep that in mind when we're doing our sweep for this 3-inch line. So with all that in mind, let's try and dig this ditch. Okay, so I think we're looking pretty good here. We're pretty much at 18. Just have some hand digging to clean up this stuff I can't quite get with the machine. Also finished my trench up to this point so I can put my sweep on here, and that should be it until we get to the transformer box put on. All right, just like that, our trench is ready to go, and our pad is pretty much where I need it to be. I'll probably end up building the back up a little bit just because it is a slight slope, but it's enough that we can now get our 36-inch diameter radius bend, and we'll come up, like I said, in the front left half of the transformer pad, and we'll just tie into our pipe back here. So let's get this installed. I think right in there looks pretty good. Okay, all that's left to do now is backfill and get some sand for our transformer pad. So we're gonna get this taken care of now, and then I'll work on getting some sand and everything ready for that later. We'll also cut that piece off flush whenever we get the transformer pad here. There's a spec for how much is sticking out over top of that sand. And of course, for now, I'm just gonna shove some cloth in here to keep anything from falling in. And I'll throw this coffee can over top to keep the water and other weather and who knows what else out of here. Okay, well that wraps things up for the trench. So next time we will get some sand for this transformer pad and start prepping that. All right guys, well the weather has not been very kind to us lately, but the last thing we need to do is get our 6 inches of sand base for this transformer pad. After that, we'd be able to get our pull tape through the conduit and be ready for the power company to come pull the line through. I'm not going to install the tape just yet because we're still a few months away from having the electric company pull the line through, and I'm worried about the sun degrading the pull tape as it sits outside. So we'll do that right before the power company gets here. So for now, the sand will be our last step for this video. Okay, well that pretty much does it. I have my 6 inches of sand compacted behind me. I just did it pretty roughly with the shovel and stepped on it to get it to grade now. So I'll come back before we actually set the transformer and regrade that, get it perfectly level. But for now, that's pretty good. And I'm just gonna throw some plastic over this just to keep the sticks and other things off of it. Keep it clean, keep the sand separated. So you see I started from the top up here, since that was a little bit higher, and I worked my way back. So a little bit thicker sand down here, but overall looks good. Still need to backfill with dirt over here to keep that sand from falling down. But for the most part, I think we're gonna call this done for part 1. And as soon as I get the okay from the power company, when the foundation's installed, they will come out and actually pull the wire, but they wanna see the actual foundation in place before they come out and do that. So when that happens, we'll do part 2 of this video, and I'll catch you guys up then. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.